Hello everybody, how's it going? I'm Vespillo, and I hope you guys are having a lovely day. We had a bit of sad news the other day. If you don't know, news is just things that happen elsewhere that other people tell you about. So I was on Yahoo reading about, if you don't know about Yahoo, Yahoo is just a website where, well, if you don't know what a website is, it's just like programming code that's, well, I guess really if you don't know what code is, it's just something that you put into a computer in order to, I guess a computer, if you don't know, is just, it's like a collection of circuits and chips and stuff. Well, if you don't know what chips are, they're just like silicon. No, yeah, well, I guess silicon, if you don't know, it's just like a derivative of sand, basically. Well, a derivative, if you don't know that either, is kind of like just mathematical function of a real variable that's determined by another quantity. So let me give you a quick example here. Take the formula dE equals F dx, for example, where dE is just the change in energy, F is the force, and dx is, of course, the representation of the derivative. Really, F is just dP over dt, and you can rearrange that to take dP times dx over dt, obviously. So once you've got that, that's just velocity. So you take v dP, and that's equal to dE, which is, again, just the change in energy. Well, now all we have to do is look at momentum, which is mv, mass times velocity. So dP, the change in momentum, is just mdv plus vdm. Now that we got that, we just replace our dP from our change in energy equals vdP, and now we have dE equals mv dv plus v squared dm. Now we're going to save this and come back to it later. So let's jump on over to relativistic mass increase, represented by this formula here. Now we just have to differentiate m with respect to v, and think of our formula like this. Rest mass on 1 minus v squared over c squared to the negative 1/2. Well, now all we gotta do is use that chain rule to differentiate it. By differentiating the brackets, we come to our constant rest mass times negative 1/2 to the 1 minus v squared over c squared. Then negative 1 minus negative half is negative 3/2. And then by differentiating on the inside of the brackets, we have negative 2v on c squared. Now these two minuses cancel out to be positive, which allows us to simplify the formula down to rest mass times v over c squared with 1 minus v squared over c squared to the negative 3/2. Expanding our term out from our rest mass times v over c squared, we can write this as 1 minus v squared over c squared to the 1/2 times 1 minus v squared over c squared to the negative 1. Now we can condense our terms and represent our rest mass using our formula above as mv over c squared times 1 minus v squared over c squared to the negative 1. Now to re-express our parentheses, we can make this mv over c squared times c squared over c squared minus v squared over c squared to the negative 1. This immediately gives us mv over c squared times c squared minus v squared over c squared to the negative 1. Taking the reciprocal of our parentheses, we can now express this as mv over c squared times c squared over c squared minus v squared, allowing us to cancel out our c squareds, which all still equals dm dv. If we then multiply both sides by c squared minus v squared as well as dv, we end up with c squared dm minus v squared dm equals mv dv. Now we just go all the way back and replace our mv dv, and we're left with dE equals c squared dm minus v squared dm plus v squared dm. course, now our v squared dm's will both cancel each other out. And this leaves us with dE equals c squared dm. Now by integrating both sides, we'll take E final over E initial and M final over M initial. This gives us E final and E initial equaling c squared, which is a constant, differentiating with respect to M. We also have M over M final, M initial. This gives us E final minus E initial equals M final minus M initial times c squared. This can also be represented by the change in energy equals the change in mass times c squared, which we all understand to be E equals mc squared. Alright, so does everybody understand what sad news is? Alright, good. Because the sad news was that a legend has passed away. Mr. Gene Wilder died on August 29th, 2016. And I wanted to do something a little bit silly, something a little bit goofy, as my way of saying goodbye to somebody who was very silly himself and very seriously funny. I know I grew up watching a whole bunch of his movies, and it's always sad to hear that somebody's passed away, but at the same time, somebody who definitely brought a lot of joy to my life, and I know many, many, many other people's lives, including a lot of my friends growing up. We used to pass around his movies and talk about, Young Frankenstein, and the first time I watched Blazing Saddles when I probably was too young and wasn't supposed to and was doing something sneaky, or even Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which I still watch to this day. It's probably one of the two movies that I watched as a kid that I still absolutely love to watch as an adult. The other being The Dark Crystal, Jim Henson's Dark Crystal. So anyway, like I said, I just wanted to do something that I thought he might appreciate. And I had seen some interviews recently. It's such a weird coincidence. About a week or two ago, I just looked up some interviews of Gene Wilder and just watched them and kind of thought how cool, a lot of his old movies were, and just the type of guy that he was and the type of person that he was. He's just a really nice, good person, and like I said, wanted to do something that I thought he might be able to appreciate. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and enjoy.